Hi, everybody. Hang on a second. Don't you just love these things? Yeah. Hey, thank you for joining us, for being part of what can only be described as yet another history-making occasion regarding the Moody on the Market Leadership Awards program. The awards for the Moody on the Market 40 Under 40 class of 2020 have once again attracted a sizable online audience, tens of thousands of page views checking out all of our winners and learning their story. Now, the success of each of our winners is our success collectively as a community. That's what I love about this whole program. We likely gained a fair number of online viewers this year because that's about the only way any of us have been operating since last spring, in the virtual realm, just as we are here today with what should have been a great in-person event held captive by the ongoing pandemic of the coronavirus. As always, we're especially grateful to our underwriting sponsors who made this entire affair possible, including Whiteman, the Connexus Group, McGee's Heating and Air Conditioning, the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber, Lake Michigan College, and supporting roles played by the Mason Jar Cafe, Stark's Family Funeral Homes and Cremation Services. Also, Schroeder Furniture of St. Joseph and United Way of Southwest Michigan as supporting sponsors. Thanks to each and every one of them for making this whole thing possible. Now, the 40 Under 40 recognizes up-and-comers in the community, the future executives and influencers to watch in our business community and beyond. The members you're about to meet from the 40 Under 40 crowd are the ones making a difference at their workplace, excelling in their roles, and making valuable contributions to their organizations. We're counting on every one of them to continue to set the tone for what it is yet to come in Michigan's Great Southwest. There were, as you might expect, some requirements. Winners had to reside in or be employed in Berrien, Cass, or Van Buren counties, had to be 39 years of age or younger as of the announcement day. Make sure that the nomination was complete, because any incomplete nomination was just literally removed from consideration. And only a single nomination was requested. Multiple entries did not enhance anyone's chances. It was highly encouraged that the winners have been with their current organization for at least a year and preferably have achieved either workplace or charitable philanthropical accomplishments and milestones from the past 12 to 18 months, and only online nominations using the official form were accepted. A panel of independent judges reviewed each nomination submitted and assigned a score to each category, all done privately, and the judges did not share information. The scores were totaled and added together to help the committee determine all of you. That panel was headed up by Brittany Grassley from United Federal Credit Union, who shepherded the nomination review process and brought on a committee to read, review, and rate each nomination. That committee, for which we are extremely grateful, included Brittany herself, Anna Murphy from United Way of Southwest Michigan, Sarah Spoonholtz from the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber, and myself, Pat Moody. They gave me one vote. I will tell you right now, as a single vote on that committee, it was not even remotely an easy task. We ended up with somewhere around 90 total nominations, and to narrow down to 40 was certainly a challenge. Thanks to the quality and caliber of the entries received, our winners can be very proud of making the cut. I hope your families, your colleagues, your supervisors, friends, and significant others are as proud of you as we all are. You're a top-notch class of winners, and we couldn't be more pleased. Our first winner is a man whose first job was as a T-ball umpire, so he's used to disputes, which is helpful in his current role as a corporate attorney at Varnum LLP, where he assists individuals, companies, and financial institutions with mergers and acquisitions, leading transactions, real estate transactions, and day-to-day business issues of all types. If he had a superpower, it would be unlimited energy, because his household currently supports two very demanding careers, a human tornado 3-year-old and an infant, so sleep is often a very scarce commodity. Our congratulations to Elliott Berlin from St. Joseph, who works in the law offices of Varnum. Our next winner is most inspired in life by the youth that she works with, the staff that works directly with them, and her team. She's from Berrien Springs, but currently lives in Benton Harbor. She's had a stellar career where, in her current role, she leads a team of more than 100 staff members, 98 programs, and over 25 partnering organizations, including 13 Michigan Works agencies across 50 Michigan cities. She'll be the first to tell you that leading that team is especially challenging because they do not directly employ most of them, and she needs to lead by her inspiring and influencing outcomes. Her Youth Solutions Unit at the Connexus Group is a huge success, and we're proud to have Sonya Blanzy among the 40 Under 40 this year. Our next honoree founded a mission-driven multicultural marketing firm bearing her name before the age of 25. She was featured in Time Magazine's Black History edition this past March. She graduated from Western Michigan University with a bachelor's degree in film, video, and media, and minor certification in nonprofit leadership. She produced a viral video with Benton Harbor area school students that amassed over 200,000 views on Facebook. She was published in the National Boys and Girls Club Be There program study and implemented Project Literature, which placed over 18,000 books in homes across the region. And she's only 25. She says that the best advice she ever got was to advocate for yourself professionally, and she's certainly done that and a whole lot more. Our next winner, Traci Burton of St. Joseph, who works for the Benton Harbor area schools. Originally from Holland, but now anchored firmly with his cycle boat and his AAA 4-diamond award-winning resort at the Untitled Harbor Shores, our next winner's first job was as a dishwasher at Crane's Pie Pantry in Fenville. He's also a licensed real estate agent and father to 2 amazing young daughters who have been able to travel extensively because of his role in the hospitality industry. He says he got his best advice from Naples, Florida PGA professional Audie Berger, who told him to get some sunglasses. Your future's bright. That former boss of his spotted the same winner that our judges did in the form of Brady Cohen from the Untitled Harbor Shores, where he serves as general manager. Our next winner among the 40 under 40 has walked the halls of Congress working side by side with one of the most powerful players in the nation's capital at the time due to his boss's role as chairman of the powerful House Energy and Commerce Committee. Prior to joining his current team at Entergy's Palisades nuclear plant, he served for more than a decade in the Kalamazoo and Washington, D.C. offices of Congressman Fred Upton. If he had his way, his superpower would be one of teleportation because, as he says, sitting at a standstill in my car on the tarmac in a Michigan winter quickly loses its charm. He adds that the best advice he ever got was you can learn a lot more by listening than you can by talking. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nick Culp of St. Joseph from Entergy Corporation. Originally from Bay City, our next honoree has logged more than 1,000 hours of flying a variety of aircraft, which certainly helps his knowledge while running the Southwest Michigan Regional Airport as executive director there. He says that last year he saw many of his good friends nominated to and winning honors among the 40 under 40, and is delighted to join them this year. He also serves the community as a reserve firefighter and says a great slice of advice wasn't actually given directly to him, but resonates just the same. It suggests if you're faced with a forced landing, fly the thing as far into the crash as possible. It was spoken by one of his all-time heroes, Bob Hoover, and he says, I think this applies to a lot of situations in life, not just aviation. From the Southwest Michigan Regional Airport, congratulations to Airport Manager Vincent Des Jardins. Reading the accomplishments of our next winner is in itself exhausting. He has a 3rd degree level 4 black belt in Taekwondo. He's traveled 5 different countries, created a Kickstarter product and business for utilizing a vehicle trailer hitch to bench press for weightlifting. He's been certified to fit leg prosthetics in Vietnam, is working on his 2nd master's degree, created a club in college to train workers in practical software, and served as its president before graduating. He worked with firefighters and conducted firefighting training on behalf of MSA to create a new product to improve their safety inside burning buildings, and developed a mirror that uses artificial intelligence to detect skin lesions on diabetic patients who do not have feeling in certain parts of their body, to be able to notify them that they were injured. Oh, and he's only 24. From the Arts District of downtown Benton Harbor and the ranks of Whirlpool Corporation, please help me congratulate Jack Doreski. We love that winners among the 40 under 40 represent a broad array of service, including public service, as in the case of the Waterville Lead City Manager, who earned his way onto the list. His first job was scooping ice cream on the beach in South Haven. His first job in the public sector, docking boats at South Haven Municipal Marina when he was 16. He says it was that job that really sparked his interest in local government. We asked our winners what was the most eye-opening part of the pandemic for them, and he says it was how unprepared we were in our cities, in our states, in our schools, and in our thinking. He adds, I believe at times as Americans we have a certain level of hubris that prevents us from working together to realize mutual goals. We can do better, we must do better, and we will do better, but only if we can come together and focus on what unites us, not divides us. That's wise advice indeed from the city of Waterville Leads, Tyler Dotson. Originally from Joliet, Illinois, and now living in Bridgman, our next winner's first job was as a library page at the age of 13. You might be surprised to learn that she has also taught ballroom and Latin dancing. As a superpower, she would most like to have the ability to slow down time. As the Senior Director of Impact Strategies for United Way of Southwest Michigan, she says her greatest accomplishment has been establishing and growing the Southwest Michigan Emergency Response Consortium. And last year, she completed her master's in administration from Central Michigan University before learning of her selection as a participant in the 2020 United Way Worldwide Fellowship Program, a year-long leadership opportunity. Let's congratulate Amanda Drew for her victory in the 2020 class of the 40 under 40. Our next young professional's first job that included a paycheck was for Ace Plumbing, Heating and Air Conditioning, where he worked for 10 years to help pay his way through college, noting, "I'm thankful for the lessons I learned doing mostly grunt work for the first few summers working there. I continue to use those skills I gained to work on my house and in my current field. I always tell my staff that I will never ask them to do something I am unwilling to do myself, but sadly, working plumbing, I have done some pretty crazy and disgusting things." His life has been significantly more illustrious since then, having graduated with departmental honors from Western Michigan University, after which he joined the Peace Corps and served in Southeast Asia for 2 years, where he traveled and lectured with the Autism Society of the Philippines, and later provided a practicum with Western where students could complete practicum hours in the Philippines working with children diagnosed with autism. After returning to the United States, he worked as a civilian contractor with 101st Airborne in Clarksville, Tennessee. He also partnered with Notre Dame University in 2018 to bring a study to improve the communications between parents and children diagnosed with disabilities to Southwest Michigan. And today, he works with the Logan Autism Learning Center in Southwest Michigan. He is David Eisenhart. Since starting in the real estate business just 4 years ago in 2016, our next honoree went from knowing nothing about the business to selling 88 homes in his first full year of real estate in 2017. That was the year he also started the Frazee team, which has now grown to 6 licensed agents and a full-time administrative staff. Interestingly, he's also a journeyman bricklayer by trade. In his first job, he worked on a farm picking apples and making apple cider. As a cancer survivor, he knows how difficult it is mentally to go through health struggles that you have no control over, not to mention the toll it takes on your family and the ones you love. He knows firsthand about the burden and financial struggles a health crisis takes on a person and family, and how blessed he was to be supported by his great community in his time of need. Now he's dedicated to giving back and has earned a slot on the 40 under 40. From the Frazee team and the Real Help Foundation, he is Josh Frazee. Our next winner is a decorated American veteran. She served a total of 8 years in the U.S. Army with 1 combat tour in Iraq and was awarded the Purple Heart, Army Achievement Medal with Oak Leaf Cluster, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Armed Forces Reserve Medal, and the M device, and her Army Service Ribbon. She also is an accomplished runner, having run multiple marathons and ultramarathons, at one point running for 62 straight miles. Originally from Youngstown, Ohio, she now lives in Allegan and is most motivated by her motto, "I live to serve." She finds the most joy in life by giving back to others and wants to see her community grow and the people that live here to be healthy and prosperous. Currently, she works for Honor Credit Union, and she is Adele Garcia. Our next honoree not only works for the Cook Nuclear Plant, he is also a publicly elected official serving on the Board of Education for the Dowagiac Union Schools. He's also a board member of the Southwestern Michigan College Foundation there. He would most like the superpower of super speed so he could get more done in a day. He's a 15-year veteran of the nuclear energy industry who says that one of the key things that has been an eye-opener during the pandemic for him is that we as a nation have become overly reliant on foreign countries to manufacture many of our goods. He says, "I hope this serves as a wake-up call to bring factories and those jobs back to the USA, and more importantly to Southwest Michigan." From the Donald C. Cook Nuclear Plant at Bridgman, he is Terry Groth. Our next member of the 40 under 40 is a personal injury lawyer at Kniebes Law Office, where he says we represent individuals against insurance companies. He has insurance companies have every advantage. They have the money, the time, and the workforce. They have the capacity to enhance others' lives, but that's not how they choose to use their resources. Instead, they use them to minimize people's value as human beings, to make them feel like they don't matter. Our response to this is simple. People deserve better. We believe our clients matter, their families matter, and their stories matter, and we work tirelessly to see them valued. He concludes, "I represent the underdog every day, and I love it." He tells us his first job was when he caddied at Point of Woods Golf and Country Club and says it was just like Caddyshack. By becoming a member of the 40 Under 40, he becomes a part of those rare power couples in the region, inasmuch as his wife, Kristen Harrington, was a previous winner. He is Nate Harrington of Kniebes Law in St. Joe. This next guy has spent the last decade working in the political arena, where he rose through the ranks of his field by managing and winning dozens of campaigns at the local, state, and federal levels. His expertise even enabled him to create his own small business, a full-service political consulting firm dedicated to electing good people to public office before he was selected to lead the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber, where he has done yeoman's work on behalf of his membership at a time they have needed him and his crew the most during the pandemic shutdowns and beyond. Despite starting just prior to the pandemic and being one of the youngest chamber presidents in the entire country, he's already led the organization to a number of notable accomplishments, which you can read about in his bio on the 40 Under 40 tab at moodyonthemarket.com. He says a real eye-opener during the pandemic has been how unevenly the pandemic has affected different communities and industries, saying it really drives home the need for a more sustainable and resilient Southwest Michigan economy. Born in Chicago but now clearly at home in St. Joe, he is Arthur Havlicek, President and CEO of the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. Hailing from the Berrien County Office of the Public Defender, our next winner works every day to represent indigent adult individuals facing criminal charges in Berrien County. He is motivated by the realization every day of how fortunate he is, and he says he sees it as a great blessing and responsibility to fight for those who have not been given many advantages in life. He would most love the superpower of being able to fly, and says the real eye-opener for him during the time of coronavirus has been the disproportionate impact upon his clients, both from the virus itself and from its economic effects. From the Berrien County Public Defender's Office, he is Paul Jancha Jr. 5 years ago, our next winner was the 2015 Michigan Pizza Hut Area Manager of the Year. He has since moved on to the nonprofit work for United Way of Southwest Michigan, where he works every day to help make a difference in the community. He loves working on wood building projects in his garage with his two boys and says, "I love seeing their creativity." Asked about superpowers, he says, "The inner child in me still wants to run as fast as the Flash." He tells us the best advice he ever got wasn't direct advice, however, when watching a video that a co-worker produced at United Way about volunteering. Bertha Carson King's words knocked the wind out of him, he said. "When you give of yourself, your life is the only Bible many people will ever read. And all people want to know is, do you care about me?" He adds, "Those words made a lasting impression on how I view my actions and live my life." He says, "I'm grateful to be a part of an organization that cares so deeply for those in the community. It's a privilege to be alongside so many others that work to strengthen Southwest Michigan." From United Way of Southwest Michigan, he is Josh Kirschman. Our next honoree is a previous owner of two Anytime Fitness franchises who has moved on to what she calls an incredible career at United Federal Credit Union, where I am privileged with the ability to do what I love. She also serves as treasurer of Girls on the Run, president of the Berrien Cast Junior Achievement Program, is a Leadership Accelerator alum, a participant with 100 Women Strong, and is an active community volunteer. Born in St. Joseph, she currently lives in Coloma next to her family farm, which has been in the family for 165 years and is her family's heaven here on earth, as she puts it. She learned early the value of hard work by working construction and residential cleaning at the ripe old age of 13. Addressing the question of something people might be surprised to learn about her, she says that "I love the sauerkraut and pepperoni pizza from Roma's in Bridgman, which is my hubby's favorite too, and I can play a mean air guitar." Well, this is where we get cheated out of being in person, because I would have made her play at it. At any rate, let's congratulate from United Federal Credit Union, Jodie Kitchell. Up next, the woman who started a business at the age of 24 and grew it to 3 locations in just 5 years, received the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber's Young Professional of the Year Award in the middle of that, is a member of the 30 Under 30, recognizing Western Michigan University's Hayworth College of Business alums, started a local women's group called Women Among Women, that is a way for women in the area to make meaningful connections, both professionally and personally, with other women in the community, and led a successful campaign this year for the American Cancer Society Researchers Drive to raise funds for cancer research and promote and fund women-led cancer research projects. Technically, her first job was helping her dad at his nursery, Grapevine Nursery in Coloma, but her first job outside of that was at Contessa Wine Cellars in Coloma at the age of 16. Now, she's a co-owner of the Lazy Ballerina Winery with tasting rooms in both St. Joe and Bridgman and a new production facility to boot. Although in high school, She wanted to be a photojournalist for Rolling Stone magazine. The best advice she ever got was never settle, and she hasn't for a moment. She is Lauren Kniebes from Lazy Ballerina Winery. Up next, a lady who was born in Boynton Beach, Florida, but raised in the Smoky Mountains until moving to St. Joe in high school and now lives in the bustling community of Baroda. She admits, while I am an extrovert, live out loud broad who never met a stranger, you'd be shocked to know that the thought of being nominated and accepting this award is nerve-wracking. She adds, I try to preach to my kids, her students, that they are the drivers of their success. I'm here to give them the tools, but they are the true heroes who put in countless hours of work to achieve their goals, and concludes, I'm humbled and honored for the nomination, and I'll be giving my husband a stern lashing for putting me out there. She tells us, despite my live-out-loud shenanigans and colorful outfits that often catch a giggle, the root of my silly lies in a true and genuine passion to teach. No matter the subject, I firmly believe that when a child inquires about any subject, I will bend over backwards to help propel them forward. Our future relies on these amazing creatures. They are smart, bright lights, full of determination and energy. Currently, a global project manager with Whirlpool Corporation, she also balances corporate America duties with her love for work as a female sports coach with Dugout Dolls. Her best advice came from Dolly Parton, who said, find out who you are and do it on purpose. She's done that and a whole lot more. She is the fireball known as Amber Layman. The next member of the 40 Under 40 says, being a mother, wife, and business owner and inspiring others to get healthy and fit are my #1 accomplishments. But I believe that in life there's so many little things that we should be proud of. She certainly has many things to be proud of herself, not the least of which is the way in which she has pivoted this year. Throughout the COVID pandemic, she held free classes down at Waco Beach for her community, which she absolutely loved doing. But before all that, she would donate her time with helping out with local 5Ks and color runs, trying to get the community involved with health and fitness in any way possible. She learned through the pandemic to never take anything for granted, adding, I have always been very thankful for being able to live my dream and owning my gym. But since the pandemic, we're shut down for months on end. And during that time, things happened with her building that forced her to find a new location. She says it's been a very stressful time, but she kept her faith and is now in a bigger space with more opportunities. She notes, without the pandemic, I wouldn't have gotten out of my comfort zone. I probably would never have recorded YouTube videos of my classes or even reached out to more people with our outdoor social distancing classes at Waco Beach. She continues to make things happen at Lakeside Fit, and she is owner and operator Lacey Lucas. Next is a young woman whose parents started a company, Griffin Tool Incorporated, when she was around 8 years old. She says, I suppose that was my first job, but I also was a babysitter and short order cook at the Shack at Berrien Hills Country Club when I was older. You have to love that her most desired superpower is to let others see the potential I see in them, she says. If we all viewed ourselves with the eyes of those who loved us, we would be unstoppable. How true indeed. Today, she counts as her major accomplishment running a successful salon in a saturated market while empowering new and seasoned stylists and staff to know their value. She has a showstopper of a beautifully designed salon that she crafted from the ground up. She is proud that her enterprise, M Squared Modern Hair, is a full-service salon choosing to use John Paul Mitchell Systems products because they believe so strongly in what the company stands for: protecting the planet, not testing on animals, and a culture of giving. She points out, too, that most of the products used at M Square Modern Hair are even manufactured in the United States. Congratulations to dear friend and former radio station colleague, Mandy McDonald. Asked about what motivates her to give back to her community, our next young professional says, I love this community. I am in awe every time I see people standing together to make this community a better place. The people I've met here over the years inspire me to join them in making this community an even better place, one that keeps on improving during our time living here. It really does take a village. My boys are growing up in this community, so of course I want to help make it an even better place. That seems like a no-brainer to me. She would love the superpower of bilocation, meaning she'd love to be able to be in two places at once, which would go a long way toward making her life easier as a full-time working mom. She works for Johnson Rohoff, or simply JR, which is a full-service strategic content agency that additionally offers the capabilities of a full-scale commercial photography and video production studio. She says, as the ultimate strategic partner for brands, we live to disrupt the status quo with creative work that drives results, fueled by strategic insights and innovative tech solutions that build powerful connections between people and brands. Her first job was at Subway, and she says her best advice was, learn your own limits. Nevertheless, her future seems limitless. From Johnson Rohoff, she is Jennifer Mitchell. Up next, a woman who says, I have been incredibly fortunate to enjoy a number of successes in my life thus far. I was privileged to represent my hometown during Blossom Time festivities as Miss Hartford 2000. I graduated as the valedictorian of my high school senior class. I graduated from the University of Michigan with honors, twice, with undergraduate and graduate degrees in civil and environmental engineering. I was inducted into Chi Epsilon, the Civil Engineering Honor Society, while in college. I was the project manager for the $9.5 million Hickory Creek Interceptor Improvements Project in 2011 that generated or garnered multiple regional and state awards, including one from the American Council of Engineering Companies. And she is also the first female ever appointed to the Whiteman Board of Directors. She tells us, my brave mother gave birth to me at our family home on Little Paw Paw Lake Road in Columbia Township, approximately 3.5 miles from my current residence. And her first official job was a dishwasher at the Big Boy Restaurant in Paw Paw, which is now the Copper Grill. And she admits, I have purposefully jumped out of a perfectly good airplane at an altitude of 14,000 feet. Why? I will assume she had a parachute because she lived to tell about it. From Whiteman to Benton Harbor, one of our great sponsors of the 40 Under 40, she is Mary Deno Nightcamp. Our next winner actually studied abroad in Rome for a semester of college and has traveled to 7 different countries thus far, yet her most desired superpower would be time travel. A little different itinerary. She was 27 at the time of her win. By the age of 40, she hopes to pass all 4 parts of the CPA exam and travel to all 50 states. She works for Krugel Lawton CPAs, a full-service accounting and business consulting firm offering assurance audit services, tax consulting, estate planning, business valuation, and accounting services to a wide variety of clients in Michigan's Great Southwest, North Central Indiana, and Eastern Tennessee. She says the best advice she ever got was to do what is right, not what's easy. She's motivated by the opportunity to make a difference in someone else's life and help better the community. She currently is serving on the steering committees for both her firm's Millennials Group and KL Win, which is the Women's Initiative Network Group, and is in the community, has served as the treasurer of the Kiwanis Club of St. Joseph and Benton Harbor for the past 4 years. From Krugel Lawton, she is Mady Ohms. Our next honoree, when asked what she'd still like to accomplish by the age of 40, answered, I'd love to go on a date with my husband, John. This past year's been incredibly difficult, but it has shown me how important it is to spend time doing the things that matter the most, and spending more time with him is definitely at the top of the list. In fairness, she was 39 at the time and may still be 39. She made it to the 40 under 40 representing First Source Bank, which is a full-service community bank located in Southwest Michigan and Northwest Indiana. She works as a trust officer with the Wealth Advisory Services Group and is able to work with individuals and families to identify and achieve their wealth management goals. She specializes in estate planning, trust administration, and portfolio management. Originally from Madison, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago, she now lives in St. Joe. First job was assembling tax returns for her dad, who had his own CPA firm. But the first job where she actually earned a paycheck, that was Dairy Queen, when she started about a week after turning 16. She also spent a year in Germany as an exchange student after graduating high school, and says her dad always said, to whom much is given, much is expected. And she feels that she has been very blessed in her life and accordingly feels an obligation to help those who might not have been so fortunate. From First Source Bank, she is Tamara Paulun. Another 40 under 40 winner from Honor Credit Union, and just like her colleague, a decorated American veteran. She's an Operation Iraqi Freedom U.S. Army veteran who was awarded the Army Commendation Medal, the Army Achievement Medal 3 times, the Army Good Conduct Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, the Army Service Ribbon, and the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal. In honor, she's responsible for nearly all of the credit union's visual graphics, from printed collateral and social media ads to billboards, automated instant teller machines, and more. She also submitted the winning logo in a design contest held by the Rise and Vine Coffee Wine Shop at the Inn at Harbor Shores. She created campaign graphics for the Rock Your Yes Berrien Springs School Millage vote in 2018 and the Scotland County Commissioner election in North Carolina, where both campaigns won their votes. She hand-painted a football field-sized castle and village for the Lakeshore Band's Beauty and the Beast halftime show, and even designed, programmed, encoded, and installed online stories for Fox TV's Cops, the Discovery Channel's Deadliest Catch, New York Times illustrator Rob Sussman, as well as political pundits Bernie Goldberg and Barely Political's Obama Girl. Quite the track record there. She was born in L.A. but lives in Stevensville, and says the best advice she ever got was don't do it for the money, but don't do it for no money. From Honor Credit Union, she is Audrie Phoenixa. Our next winner is one of the most prolific bakers in all of Southwest Michigan, and yet she will tell you she is completely self-taught and trained never attended culinary school at all. She literally learned everything from watching and practicing, but attended no formal schooling for any of her work at Soulard's Cafe and Bakery in downtown Coloma. However, she is licensed in many other things, including cosmetology, certified nursing, phlebotomy, and travel planning. During the pandemic, she says the most eye-opening thing she has discovered is how being in a small community is truly a blessing in times like these. She says, of course, business will always think they could do more in a bigger area, but by the end of the day, it's the small towns that will rally around their own and support you. She also learned that a little bit of kindness, patience, and understanding can go a long way. She certainly had to have a ton of patience with multiple state-mandated shutdowns of her small deli and bakery business. And when she won the award, she told us many small-town businesses failed within the first year, which is intimidating. We've learned many lessons along the way, especially this year, but I've continued to be able to dig deeper and find strength that I didn't even know I had, while also still keeping a kind heart and being able to give back. To have the community recognize the efforts being put forth is truly rewarding and one of the best honors. From Soulard's of Coloma, she is owner and operator Taylor Prestige. Our next honoree has worked at Whirlpool Corporation and lived in the St. Joseph area for 11 years. During that time, she has held roles in engineering across the company's kitchen categories, led global quality initiatives, developed and launched products in their Ohio, Oklahoma, and Tennessee plants, as well as held roles in the company's product marketing organization and now on the merchandising team. She says Whirlpool has enabled her to progress in her career, and their promotion of continued education has allowed her the opportunity to complete a master's degree in engineering at Purdue University, an MBA at the University of Michigan, all while with the company. After her freshman year in college, she started a little interning with General Motors, where she had roles at their new Lansing Delta Township plant, Milford Proving Grounds, and Warren Technology Center. She says, certainly my favorite early experience was at the Milford Proving Grounds, conducting 0 to 60 mile per hour testing on their test track, evaluating new GM and competitor vehicles. She says she really has a passion for supporting students, enabling them to meet their goals. Having a background in engineering and supporting STEM programs, particularly important to her. In the past, she has supported the Boys and Girls Club Science Days and the Benton Harbor Smart Tutor Program. From Whirlpool, she is Amanda Rowland. This next guy says most of his accomplishments come from others winning. He's worked for the Boys and Girls Club of Benton Harbor for 5 years, and in those years, he has seen many youth go on and lead successful lives. He's been part of members receiving academic scholarships. He's watched colleagues step into their greatness and become their most authentic selves. He's been a part of the members becoming amazing mothers and fathers. He's been on the front line of changing and bettering the community that he grew up in and loves, and he is proud of his accomplishments because his accomplishments give others a platform and an opportunity to eventually have accomplishments of their own. He tells us his first job was picking strawberries at a farm, but he quit the next day. And he adds, some people may be surprised to know he's a novice handyman and believes that in another life he would have been a carpenter. Regarding his motivation to give back, he says, I absolutely love seeing young people grow into successful citizens. They just need a little push in the right direction. I think together we can change this community, but we all have to do our part. Even his desired superpower is about others. As he says, it would be the ability to enhance people by stripping away people's fears and doubts so they can go after the one thing that's holding them back from reaching greatness. He's well on his way to greatness in many ways, not the least of which is his win here among the 40 under 40. From the Boys and Girls Club of Benton Harbor, John C. Sams IV. In high school, our next winner was a three-sport athlete and valedictorian of her class. She went on to Southwestern Michigan College, where she had 2 jobs while completing her associate's degree. She was awarded Student Worker of the Year in 2015, and while completing her bachelor's degree, she was promoted in her job twice at Southwestern Michigan College. She was then recruited to work for St. Joseph Today upon graduating, and has been able to be a part of establishing a stronger brand for the organization, creating content and campaigns for their digital marketing efforts, and marketing their events and the community. She says she also had the joy of being the secretary of the Girls on the Run Southwest Michigan board. Originally from Kalamazoo, now living in St. Joe, she says she collects Christmas ornaments and has several series ornaments. She also makes it a point to get an ornament from any place she travels, which trips my trigger because Carol and I do that too, with a tree filled with destination ornaments gathered along the way. When it comes to superpowers, she would most like to have the ability to teleport because she'd love to be able to spend more time with her family or be at multiple events in one day instead of using that time to travel. From St. Joe Today, she is Emily Schrock. Up next, a man who is proud and thankful that he was a high school teacher for 5 years, as he loved going through life with his students and learned a lot from them. He's also proud and thankful that he was able to start an Edward Jones office in a town where he previously didn't know anyone. That's what he does today. He also features one of his favorite accomplishments as co-founding the Paw Paw River Jeep Club, which has grown to be what he characterizes as a really fun group of people that not only like Jeeps, but were willing to step up during the pandemic and support restaurants during the shutdown by hosting a gift card drive for Coloma restaurants, which led to over $6,000 in gift cards being purchased in April through June of this year. This year, he was also elected president of the Paw Paw Lake Rotary Club, which is a great group of citizens who love to do good in our communities. In his first job, he built and installed custom cages in zoos all around the country with his dad. A real eye-opener during the pandemic for him was how busy he used to be, saying, "Now, I've loved how much time I've been able to spend with my wife and daughters since the coronavirus began." From Edward Jones in Coloma, he's Brian Smith. Our next winner is a third-generation funeral director with our friends at Stark's Family Funeral Homes and Cremation Services. She's the co-chair of the Next Gen seminar for the selected independent funeral homes, a graduate of the Leadership Accelerator program, and a certified crematory operator. As she looks at the time between now and when she turns 40, she says she would like to continue to grow her family's company and acquire additional funeral homes and possibly even open an event venue to celebrate any occasion. Asked about her first job, she asked a question in return, wondering, does child labor count? She was technically doing filing work at the funeral home at a young age, but her first legal job was working at the chocolate counter at Tabor Hill Winery. She's most inspired by her dad, Tom Starks, saying he has always been a supportive father, and adding, after my mom died, he was basically put in charge of our whole household. While doing that, he still managed to own and operate a business that he had to rebuild. She adds, while managing a busy schedule, he always made it a priority to never miss one of my school events and was very present in my life. She was a certified scuba diver at the age of 12. She would love to try out the superpower of invisibility. That way, if she found herself in a situation she didn't want to be in, she could just disappear. Wouldn't we all? Sometimes we all would like that. From Stark's Family Funeral Homes and Cremation Services, she is Laura Starks. Originally from Grosse Pointe, Michigan, but now living in Stevensville, our next honoree works for United Federal Credit Union. She says that aside from babysitting, her first real job was as a pool lifeguard at Lockmore Club in Grosse Pointe Woods. Treat the janitor with the same respect as the CEO was the best advice she ever got, and that's great advice for anyone. She played ice hockey in high school on one of the first women's high school ice hockey teams in the state of Michigan, and they won 2 state championships. She says she loves meeting and engaging with people in the community regardless of the cause. Last year specifically, she was fortunate enough to volunteer through United Way of Southwest Michigan, where she serves on the board of directors and made people's Christmas a little bit brighter by providing gift cards from the generous community. She says, "I'll never forget the joy and expression on their faces knowing that they would be able to make their family's holiday a little bit brighter." She admits that she is motivated to give back by the goodness in people, adding, "Right now, we live in a world of much uncertainty, and we can easily forget the beauty of the world and in people. Making people happy and seeing their smiling faces of gratitude brings me so much joy and motivation." She would love the superpower of teleportation, saying, "With a majority of my family not local to Southwest Michigan, I could see them whenever I wanted." She tells us being among the 40 under 40 is extremely honored to even be considered. She says she's watched so many others be awarded over the years and has always been extremely impressed with the leaders of our community. Now she can just look in the mirror. From United Federal Credit Union, she is Emily Simkowitz. Next comes a woman who, after graduating from college, worked as the ticket office manager for the DeBartolo Performing Arts Center at the University of Notre Dame. While working at the university, she enrolled in their Masters of Nonprofit Administration program, and upon earning her degree, began working at the Readiness Center in Benton Harbor. Over the course of her first 11 years, she transitioned from fund development and special projects to assistant director, and has just completed her first year as executive director. In 2014, she joined the Sisters of Mercy of the Americas as a lay associate and serves on the Michigan Associate Council, where in 2018 she was selected to participate in the Collaborative Leadership Development Program, an international program for women, religious, and associate affiliates. Originally from Evansville, Indiana, she now lives in St. Joe and says her first job was at Edgewater Gifts in downtown St. Joe, where one of her favorite parts of the job was designing the Department 56 Christmas Village display. She says her best advice was to get the facts, make a plan, and don't go it alone. And she has used that advice in many areas of her life, but still has to remind herself of it often. She says having grown up in the U.S., Canada, and Italy, at one point in time, she could speak 4 languages. Now, she could get by in a pinch. When it comes to superpowers, she says, I often act as though I can teleport, planning too many activities too close together. It'd be nice if I actually could. We'd love to teleport her here to give her the award in person, but from the Readiness Center, we'll just say congratulations to Mandha Thieneman. Our next award goes to one of the 3 signature blondes who own and operate 3 Blondes Brewing, a microbrewery and restaurant in South Haven that offers a wide range of inspired brews and creative American fare, but only for takeout at the moment due to the state mandates. Her sense of humor comes through in her list of accomplishments where she says simply, well, I opened a brewery with my 2 sisters and it's been over 2 years and we haven't killed each other yet. So I'd say that's an accomplishment. She says her first job was mowing lawns in her neighborhood growing up, followed by working for her parents' small business in high school, noting, it was there I started to develop a love for accounting, which led me down the path of becoming a CPA. Asked about her motivation to give back to the community, she says, I grew up in South Haven, so it's an easy decision to give back to the community that helped shape who I am. I love seeing the community work together to help others in need. Her humor shines through in her response to the question about superpowers, asking for superhuman strength because it would make handling 160-pound kegs much easier. From South Haven's 3 Blondes Brewing, she is either blind number 1, 2, or 3. I don't know. She's Carrie Troyer. Next, we have a woman who says that at the Berrien County Health Department, their mission is to serve the residents of Berrien County by preventing disease, protecting health, and promoting an optimal quality of life for all. Not an easy task at all in the middle of a pandemic, but she also faces a mission at the Boys and Girls Club of Benton Harbor, where she works to inspire and enable all young people to reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. She graduated from Benton Harbor High School in Benton Harbor in the class of 2000, obtained her associate's degree in applied science from Lake Michigan College, and has had a multitude of jobs in her community, from child care provider at Kids Zone at Lake Michigan College and Trinity Lutheran in St. Joe, to student advocate at Kindergarten Discovering and preschool teacher at Tri-County Head Start, as well as being a paraprofessional and substitute teacher at the Mildred C. Wells Academy. Currently, she's the health educator at Berrien County Health Department and parent outreach coordinator at the Boys and Girls Club of Benton Harbor. One busy lady. Asked about something that might surprise us to know, she says, I'm the biggest crybaby in the world. I cry when I'm happy or sad. It's uncontrollable. Hopefully she's got tears of joy again today, as well as we tell you of the next member of the 2020 class of the 40 Under 40 from Moody Market, LaToya Turner. Also on the list of the 40 Under 40 is a guy who started his second distillery in Niles. Following his MBA, he started and grew a distillery in Westminster, Colorado, that he ultimately sold before starting Iron Shoe Distillery in Niles. He recently received a congressional certificate of recognition from Congressman Fred Upton for his company's work in producing hand sanitizer during the pandemic. He'd like to see the distillery grow to multiple locations throughout Michigan, as well as grow his distribution to multiple states. Originally from Denver, he now lives in Niles and says his first job was stocking shelves and wrapping meat at his parents' grocery store. He tells us he had been fortunate to have the opportunity to learn from and watch his dad and grandfather as they ran their businesses. And what both of them always stressed was the importance of developing relationships with people. Recognizing he is the customer service business, he has learned to love interacting with and getting to know the people who support his business. He recently tried to ride his bike from the Indiana state line to the Mackinac Bridge in 24 hours, but he admits, unfortunately, I only made it 200 miles, but adds, next summer, I'll do the whole thing. The real eye-opener for him during the pandemic has been how amazing it has been to see the community rally to support all of the businesses that have been affected by the pandemic. The community has gone out of their way to ensure that small businesses will make it through the pandemic and come out stronger on the other side. From Iron Shoe Distillery in Niles, he is Howard Tuthill. In 2017, our next winner received a letter of commendation from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Benton Harbor's Board of Directors after aiding the Berrien County Sheriff's Department in a child kidnapping incident that led to the safe recovery of 2 children. A year later, she launched 600 Safe Street, which is a dedicated space within the Boys and Girls Club to aid members with grief, anxiety, anger management, and peer pressure through the Be There initiative from the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. 600 Safe Street is a refuge for all members and staff who are in need. She says two things about her we would be most surprised to learn is that first, she enjoys writing poetry, saying, I'm very reserved with my emotions, so poetry helps me clear my thoughts and soothe my soul. Lastly, she tied for second place as runner-up for the Michigan Miss Basketball Award in 2008. When it comes to superpowers, she says the superpower I'd most like to have would be Mystique of X-Men. She has the power to shapeshift and assume the powers of whoever she desires. And this makes me think of the saying, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Her strength lies in her adaptability. A person who embraces change will find a way to succeed. Responding to the eye-opening question regarding the pandemic, she says, if there's one thing this pandemic has taught us, it's that everything can be taken away from us in a blink of an eye, without a warning, without our consent, without remorse of the damage it has caused. The pandemic speaks to the brevity of human life. The Bible speaks about life being a vapor. In other words, life is short. People are here today and gone tomorrow. God has given each and every one of us a purpose in his life. I want to reach my full potential and achieve everything I sought out to do. From the Boys and Girls Club of Benton Harbor, she's Courtney Webb. Finally today, we welcome to the 40 Under 40 crowd a man who provides training, academic support, certification, and employment opportunities for 16 to 24-year-olds in Southwest Michigan through the Connexus Group, a team at Youth Build. His team was awarded a $1 million Youth Build grant from the Department of Labor in 2018 to develop the Benton Harbor Youth Build program, and since then, the team has doubled in size, moved to an updated space, and has increased their reach into the community. They've turned the Chet Nichols building in downtown Benton Harbor into the next level tech center where they will serve adults and youth in multiple relevant and high demand industries. He also started Weeks Furnishings, a small local business focused on providing custom furniture, small home renovations, and property management. Additionally, he has fundraised, designed, and built a large playground for Warner Camp located in South Haven. Originally from Vancouver, Washington, he now lives in St. Joe and says the best advice he ever got was that the greatest investment you can make is in another person. His sense of humor shows up when you ask about his wish for the superpower to have the ability to wake up fully rested and not cranky. We hope he's now fully rested and not cranky as we deliver our final award for 2020 to Caleb Weeks from Youth Build at the Connexus Group. Our congratulations to each and every one of our newest ambassadors for the future of the Moody Market 40 Under 40 Enterprise. We hope that each will wear the badge proudly and keep an eye out for those you think will be great entries to the winner's circle next year. I'd also like to thank some people who have been instrumental in making this all happen. The leader of the Midwest family, Southwest Michigan, Dave Deutsch, our promotion director, Kristen Havens, our digital guru, Zach East, and my videographer friend here today capturing all of this, Ryan Cheevers from Little Red Fern Productions. Thank you all for your diligence in making this a first-class effort in every regard. Don't forget, you can read all about every one of the winners we've shared here today at any time you wish under the 40 Under 40 tab on moodyonthemarket.com. Happy holidays, everyone. Be safe.